Hello and welcome to show 82 of the Mini PC Show. Big talk, small computers, and small bird chiming in while I'm doing the intro. Door, how the heck are you?
I would say I'm crazy because of, Thanksgiving, Black Friday, Small Business Saturday, Cyber Monday, Giving Tuesday, and every other thing that they try to create to get more money out of us. But it really just seems normal, except for cold. It's been windy and cold.
Dude, you see me on the camera here? Look what I'm wearing, man. Look, I got sweats and a hoodie on. I even have socks. It's like, I forget what it was. I think it was like 40-something when I woke up this morning, and we had a high of like 50-something, which I'm sure you're saying, yeah, I would trade an arm for that right now, right?
Well, here it goes back and forth. We get like 2 days where the low is 30-ish, high is like 38 or 42, and then we'll have a day or two where it actually gets up into the 50s, and it's like much, much nicer.
I remember when I was working at the Porsche repair shop, the days when it was like as warm as 32 degrees, I'd open the shop door and let the heat in.
Right. Well, I want to like cut through the stuff because I know there's definite things that have been received at houses. Um, I'll say like the Amazon has had many sales on micro SD cards and SD cards of all shapes and sizes. They literally had, I want to say it was a 128 gig today for like $25. How how big is that when you got there? Oh, you have 128 UHS-1. How much was that? Like $30?
Nah, yeah, I think I got it. I've got two of these. I think I got them for like $20 a piece or so. I'd have to check my Amazon account. In fact, let me do that.
Very cool. Yeah, I got the next stage up, which was the UHS-2, I believe it's called. It's basically red and gold version of it. 32 gig. It was like $8.
Okay, yeah, I got the 256, and I actually have that in my Mac right now. And there's a SD card carrier that works so it's flush mounted with your Mac. Because I only have a 256 SSD, so $20 for the carrier, got it from Amazon. $20, yes, for that 256 gig micro SD, and or was it $30? I forget what it was. Maybe it was 40. I got to look at my Amazon bill. So let's just say for $60, I've got 250. I've doubled my drive or my storage capacity on my MacBook without unscrewing anything, voiding the warranty, blah. So
That's crazy. This is, I think, the holiday season of storage coming down to literally insane prices.
well, okay. So since we're talking storage, and storage is like crack to me, do I have to hold it upside down? 256 gig USB 3.0 thumb drive from Costco. I think it was $20.
Oh my lord, that's crazy. Yeah, and well, then oh yeah. What is that?
That is the 8 terabyte external USB 3.0 drive from Costco. I think it was like $129.
Oh my. What can't you store now, Rich, just with your recent purchases?
And of course, I asked you, like, hey, should I get this Media K400 Plus keyboard from Logitech for $17 on Amazon? And I think you said it was like last year's whatever. I'm like, too late. I already clicked buy.
Well, I have like now two of them in my house, and I paid, I want to say 24, $28. Like the first one was $28, second one was $24. The price just keeps getting better because they launched the K, I believe 600, which is like
Okay.
$80. But that is one of the best bang for the bucks you can possibly do.
Okie doke. So I'm looking at my price. One more thing. I got these LOHAS smart bulbs. There was a coupon. 3 dimmable color LED Wi-Fi bulbs, no hubless. They just work off an app. They'll work from your Google Home or your Alexa. $42.99 regularly. There was like $10 off from Tech Bargains, and I got 3 of them. My wife liked them, and I got 6 more and paid the $42.99. I couldn't. They're a little funny getting set up. I got a video on that, which I guess we could put a link in the notes. Or I'll plug myself. You can go to flyingrich.com and see that stuff from my YouTube videos. And I'm pretty happy with them. They're budget priced, no hub to go out of whatever style fashion. They linked up with Google. Right now I'm VPN'd into my home network. If I said the wake word and turn all the lights on at my house, they'd all go on. If I said turn them all red, they'd all turn red. You group them in rooms for people that aren't aware of this stuff. You can group them in rooms, and so there's like master bedroom. So I could say turn master bedroom lights on, and they all go on. I have vestibule. I can say turn vestibule lights on, or I can address them individually. You know, the guest room vestibule, that kind of thing. And very happy with the integration and functionality. So that was real cool.
That's very cool. I know that they've brought the level of friction down, so that's really good to hear.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Big deal. Great. Once they got integrated, they were like just crazy good. All right. So the 256 gig micro SD, I paid $44.99 for. It's 100 megabits. Is it MB? It's capital MB. Is that megabits or megabytes?
I believe bits.
And it says U3, whatever U3 is.
Yeah, U3 is the highest grade of the old Class 10 rating system. So it's basically anything greater than like a year and a half old, it will go faster than any of your hardware, of like that age. Only the newest of the newest hardware can support faster speeds.
Okay, so the 128 ones I got were $21.95, and that's the red and gray, not the gold and white or whatever the one you have.
Yeah, I'm a Microsoft bigot, is what I'm going to say. I have a very hard time getting more than 32 gigabyte drives like that, just because I don't want to pay the Microsoft tax. I don't want to give them money.
Crap.
I know.
So we need to explain that, because I don't think people understand what's going on.
Well, Microsoft as a company did a very smart thing, and they got something through the ICO, the ISO standards and measurements kind of thing, where any micro SD card and most USB drives over 32 gigs are sold with exFAT format on them. And every time you either have the ability to read or write exFAT, or you sell a piece of hardware that has something formatted exFAT, Microsoft gets a chunk of change.
So this is something that annoys the flock out of me. Because back in the cassette tape days, VHS days, musicians, if you were just recording birds and you bought cassette tapes, which nobody knows what that is anymore, all the recording artists, the RIAA, whatever, got a cut of it, because obviously you're pirating music. Likewise, even hard drives, CDs, DVDs, DVD-Rs, that kind of thing. Any recording media, the record in a couple other whoever's are getting a cut because they successfully sued, and they're getting a. Realistically, if you got a penny for every terabyte sold, you'd be a billionaire.
Oh yeah, by far. I don't know if I brought this. Sorry, I don't know if I brought this to the show last time. It's a SanDisk MyConnect.
So what's it do?
Well, the gimmick is it's a USB key, but it's also a Wi-Fi access point. It can stream 3 1080p streams at the same time to 3 different devices, and it can be a through device, so I can configure it to connect to my home internet. I can, on my device, connect to it and still access the internet through it. This was 32 gigs because, again, I wanted smaller. And this was, I want to say, $19 about a week and a half ago.
No way.
And I couldn't pass it up, only because of its functionality and because the new phone I got is only a 32 gig phone. So I knew space would be, in a short supply.
Oh, I got something. I got to show it to you. Boy, I got to grab it out of my backpack. Oh, I can't show it to you. because I'm using my phone for video right now.
Okay, well, I got something else to show you that I just literally got today in the mail, and it's literally still in the DHL bag itself with some,
Looks like it's from China.
foreign characters on it, is what I'm going to say. Yeah. And of course, timing is everything. My wife saw it and said, "Oh, is that my Christmas present?"
You
I'm
said if you
sorry.
like a microcontroller of some sort.
And I was like, "Sorry, but I do
Ooh.
not think it is." I could not wait. I could not stop. I could not help myself. The o-droid H2 went on sale a couple of days ago, maybe a week ago, and I immediately bought it. And then very, very
Oh,
shortly
wait.
thereafter,
H2, not the HC2. Because I was going to say, if you got the HC2, this is what you need for it.
no, this is the Intel-based Gemini Lake CPU board that they have.
All I got to say is you're the biggest in fill in the blank in the world. You didn't get two? You didn't get one for me?
They were $130 when it was all said and done.
Yeah.
And in typical fashion, I forgot to add on the power adapter.
Wait, what's it take power? Isn't it like 20 volts, 19 volts?
No, they said a normal, and what they said in air quotes was a normal 5-volt 4-amp plug should work. And
there are no normal 5-volt 4-amp plugs.
Well, every single one of my Rock 64 and Rock Pro 64 plugs are 5 volts 4 amps, or they're the same numbers.
Yeah, but the plug, it's like super small, the Canon connector on that.
And that's what I'm not sure about. So what I did was, I later that night realized I didn't order it. I went back on the Hard Kernel site itself because I mistakenly ordered this from Hard Kernel directly instead of through the Ameridroid, like an idiot. So I said, well, I'm at least going to go to Ameridroid and buy the power plug. So I did that night order the power plug for it. And even on Hard Kernel site, I couldn't even find which power plug went with it. So on, of course, the Ameridroid.com, I went to the H2, scrolled down, and the very first thing in the list beneath it was the power brick, and it said for o-droid H2.
Excellent. How much was that?
The o-droid H2, which only came with a Wi-Fi antenna, it looks like the board itself, and nothing else, after shipping was $130.
Okay. And then the power supply?
The power supply, I want to say, was $9, and I paid for expedited shipping, which brought up to around $14.
$5? That's not bad. That sounds like the regular shipping was probably $3, and you probably would have paid $5 for the expedited.
Yeah.
That's an easy up charge.
Right. Now the bad thing is, even if I get the power, I'm not sure I can still even run this damn thing because
need memory.
Yeah, memory would be really nice, and I do have some RAM chips around here, but something tells me they're not the right ones. And here's the whole thing: I am okay with that. I'm okay with having this, and it literally taking me 3 to 6 months to get it fully stacked and packed the way I want it. Because if not, if I wanted to do it all today, Brian priced it out as around $300 to get this thing fully
populated.
Yeah, and I can't afford 300 right now, but I can afford 100 right now, and then next month maybe another 20, then the month after that maybe another 50 or 60, and then in a couple months get it fully ready to roll.
But Dor, I was like, I'll buy one of them, and I'm like, oh, the bad news is, what's the bad news, Dor?
The bad news is Intel. I'm gonna guess the actual problem is Intel having to reshuffle, to reorganize, to redo their infrastructure, because there is a extreme shortage on a lot of manufacturers when it comes to the Intel chips here in the last week.
Yeah, so a couple of different manufacturers are saying, hey, we got no more product. Up Squared, so one of the Up products said, hey, we don't anticipate having anything till 2019 sometime. So the H2, they're out. That's it. Done.
Yeah.
Not done permanent, just there's no availability of CPUs from Intel.
Yeah, and two of the other manufacturers doing small form factor computers. I believe it was Gigabyte, who has the bricks, and I
Yeah.
want to say it was Shuttle. Both of them announced that there would be shortages for the foreseeable future. So, we all know in the real world, paying attention with open eyes, ARM is killing it with the number of chips
Hmm.
being sold versus Intel. So my guess is it's Intel basically scaling back and restructuring how their business processes is to try to maximize how much money they're making.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm not sure I fully get it, but maybe that's why I'm not a bigwig.
Well,
I,
and like ARM has literally been now also going a little bit crazy again, trying to get servers in the real world. We have VMware announcing, they're going to have
mhm.
infrastructure available on ARM.
So
Amazon just did Amazon Cloud instances where you can get specific ARM processors because they cost less, so you're going to save money.
ooh.
And there was somebody else also just did another ARM initiative.
Oh yeah, I didn't know Amazon was doing ARM also. So here's the thing: I do VMware for a living, and so at VMworld in Vegas, which I was there, they had the VMware booth. I know it.
Bert, you're not there. Nope.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
I don't know if I need a new USB cable for this microphone or what. So I was at VMworld in Vegas, and I found it took me a little bit of time to find it. Nobody knew where it was, where because they announced in the keynote that they have ESXi on ARM, which is their hypervisor. And I go over there, I'm like, great, where can I download it? You can't. Great, where's the web page so I can find? You can't. Can you put me on a mailing list? We could take your note. I'm like, you can't scan my badge. The badges are all RFID. I'm like, and the guy didn't get it. I don't know who they had like three people standing there. They just didn't get it. And so they have VMworld Europe or whatever, and I forget where it is in Europe
I think it was
because
Germany.
no, I don't think it's Germany. I think it's one of those more shishi places. And all of you in Europe that I just offended, oh well. So they had ESXi on a Raspberry Pi. So it from a little bit of internal talk and external talk.
Lost you again.
I didn't even touch the stupid one. Am I back?
Yep.
All right. So they have ESXi running on a Raspberry Pi. In Vegas, they had it running on some rack mount ARM based thing. I forget what it was, but they don't know what to do with it. It's it's a solution in search of a problem. And I wrote the guy. I don't know if his emails heavily filtered, blacklisted, whitelisted, but I wrote whoever at VMware saying, look, I want it just as it is. I want to run it on, a Rock 64, not the Rock Pro, but the Rock 64, which for 4 gigs of RAM on a Rock 64, what is it, $40?
Oh yeah, dirt cheap.
Yeah, I want a cluster of them. I want an ESXi cluster on ARM on Rock 64s that I could spin up instances of whatever the frick I want. That's what I want to have. And I wrote them an email because they're like, oh, contact us with what you want to do with it. And I'm like, deploy it as is. Now, the ESXi is basically.
Lost you again.
So ESXi is OpenSUSE, and it's basically open source. And you can download the files. Of course, good luck compiling them and getting them running. but you could theoretically compile it yourself on ARM, which I was looking at. Not, I didn't dive deep into it, but I was looking at the availability of the source code. So it is out there. They did do some things to trim the amount of memory that it uses, so it would work on the Raspberry Pi. So I guess it doesn't load up a whole lot of modules or daemons or whatever it may be that it would normally run. So they said it was nothing special. And I did contact, William Liam, Virtually Ghetto, and we had an email exchange. I'm like, dude, I'm interested, because he made a post about it, and had an email exchange with him. But super excited about that, and like I said, I want it plain vanilla to run on my infrastructure. Like I had an issue with my Home Assistant over the Thanksgiving break.
Lost you again.
And I did a reboot, and I don't know if it did an upgrade or whatever the heck it did, but this is Raspbian, so it's running stock Raspbian. So my Ethernet device was no longer ETH0, it was like ENX in like half a UUID. So all of a sudden, it's not working. So anyhow, I figured out what was going on. I hooked a terminal up to it and a keyboard, so I was direct on it. Got it rebooted. I pulled the SD card out of it, and I threw it in one of my laptops that I have Ubuntu on and run gparted and did fixed partitions and all that bit. And I got them all working, got it back down, and in the meantime, because I did use on the Mac the software called DD, and I've been backing up all of my SD cards to it, I go to unzip it and just check it out. During the unzip process,
Lost you again.
I had the zip file of the image of my SD card, and I go to unzip it. It says the zip file's corrupt, which drives me the frick crazy. I gotta practice what I preach. I always say a backup is only good if you test it end to end, do a restore, and understand that it works fully. And I did not commit to that. So the other thing I did is there's a couple of config files, some YAMLs, which is yet another markup language that Home Assistant runs on. So I made sure I copied those off into the same 256 gig thumb drive where I have all of my configs backed up. And so I have that. I've got it running again. But the idea of having a VM and having a snapshot of a VM and being able to like delete the current version, pull a snapshot from archive and have it spun up again, that's just fantastic. And my Home Assistant does interface with some hardware, so I would have to have two things. Either the identical hardware, which is a 433 megahertz transmitter on each host board, each physical host, or it would have to have the VM pinned to the particular machine. There's affinity rules for that. So the concept of a cluster is your VM could migrate from one machine to another in the cluster. So if the ESXi host is going down for some reason, it would move all of the VMs to another host in the cluster, which is crazy cool. Because you could do maintenance, you can pull things out, you can replace hardware, you could, put upgraded hardware in. So the idea of having an ESXi cluster ARM-based, I'm just crazy excited about that idea.
Yeah, I'll say my issues I've been experiencing with Nextcloud is making me believe that to really get this thing running well, And honestly, I had really issues getting my own cloud set up too. I mean, I know I'm not a genius, but I'm sure I'm not that stupid either. Um, I'm honestly thinking I'm going to have to use something like Docker on my device to try to get a repeatable
Hmm.
instance of Nextcloud up easily. Because the real goal is I got a friend where I have two Rock 64s. The logic is I have two different instances on it. I put them out there. I have them federated, and then it's very easy for us to back up each other's instance and share media with no friction.
Right.
And the troubles I'm having getting this one working by itself is difficult. I will say I did, in air quotes, in fluffy air quotes, I did figure out what I needed to do to get it up and running. And what it basically amounted to was I had to run a command that nuked part of the config on my Nextcloud. There was some error in config where in the forums in DietPi it said it's fixed in the next version. For now, run this command. I ran the command. Now, when I access the Nextcloud, it's asking me for the SQL details. Where's the database? What's the name of the database? And what's the cred? So now I just got to go back into the Rock 64, issue those commands, make sure the database exists, make sure I know what the password is, set it, and then log in that way. But I don't like the fact I have to do that. I would really appreciate something that is I drop, I click install, and it works. And if I can't get that, I'm going to actually entertain the idea of doing a Docker instance. Now, here's the gimmick. People swear to me. All I got to do is create a account on Docker Hub, go on Docker Hub, put in ARM, scroll through, find the official name of their Nextcloud for ARM instance, and issue it, and it should automatically download it from them and work. But no one can tell me if it's going to work on my architecture. Even though it says ARM in the device, it's more than likely configured for the Raspberry Pi architecture,
Ah.
which this is not. And they say, well, it should work, but nobody can tell me it will work.
Hmm. Yeah, I'll have to give that a try.
Yeah.
I do have my Rock 64 just kind of not dedicated to anything right now, so we could do a smoke test with that. I'd be happy to do that over the weekend.
Oh, yeah. And I did. It was, of course, coincidence. As soon as I found something showing me how to do it on Raspberry Pi, the very same day I had a Google alert set where Google alerts, if people don't know what Google alert is, think of it like this. You search for a car deal and you don't find your car deal. You set a Google alert up. And what happens is daily, if you want to, daily, it will send you emails of all the new search results in the Google index. So what I did was I literally put in DietPi, Nextcloud, broken, I think it was. And the very same day, I got an email from the DietPi forums saying here is something that matches that search result set. So at the very same day I found out how to do Docker, ARM, Nextcloud, this came over my stream where I clicked it and it said run this command to get your Nextcloud working. I ran it and I got further.
Hmm. Yeah, I started setting up a Docker cluster, and I got the software loaded, and I just didn't. I kind of started disassembling my cluster and found other things I needed to do in the meantime. And part of me, I've been exploring the ARM, ARM virtualization, and I kind of hit some roadblocks with that also, because apparently you can do that with KVM, and you could do that. I think I found a GitHub install script to do it, and I set up ARMBean on my Rock 64, and I got the UI everything up, but it's not fully functional, and I got to figure the rest of it out.
Gotcha. Yeah. My goal is before next show to have the Rock 64 up and running with any type of Nextcloud. And then it's literally going to be smoke testing it, seeing if I can get it to be a stable interface. Now, here's the thing. It cannot be as stable as my Banana Pi Pro. It's not going to happen because the Banana Pi Pro is powered by micro USB, which means I just need one of my RAV Power continuous devices sitting there to where I can have the thing up for 3 years with no issue. The Rock Pro uses a barrel jack connector. Barrel jack connectors should burn in hell. They're horrible. And it has a real power outlet on the end, which means if I want to have continuous power, I need to now go invest in $80-$100 hardware just to have continuous power. And I'm not going to do that just for continuous power, where the RAV Power was literally like a $25 investment. So it cannot be as stable as a Banana Pi Pro, but I want it to, when I pull the power plug and I put the power plug back in, I want it to power up successfully and, stay running for weeks on end with no issue. And so I'm going to test it first.
Yeah, I definitely let's either carve out some time or just send some emails back and forth and let's try to hit on that this weekend, because I'd be pretty excited to do that, to have a success in that area.
Very cool. And I will say this. I bought the o-droid H2 Intel-based mini computer. If I didn't buy that, I can tell you I would have spent money the very next day, because the very next day I saw line 776 Rich. There was a sale on the o-droid XU4 and the XU4Q. One of them has the fan, one of them has a huge heat sink on it, and it was literally $49.
No, I missed that.
Well, I was afraid to show it to you because I was afraid you would cuss me out and say, "Why are you showing me this?"
Yeah. Boy, if you knew how much money I owed.
Well, I mean, it's like I tell my wife, she says, "Does this cost too much?" I said, "Of course not. We can just cut my arm and I'll bleed more money. Don't worry about money." I mean, if we worry about money, we're going to worry till the day we die.
Oh my
So
gosh.
I say, don't worry about it. But I would have bought, honestly, maybe 2 more of these things. That's how much I enjoy my XU4. And the reason I enjoy it is because I have no issues with it. The damn thing just runs. Now, I will say I did have to buy, and let me just switch the camera over. I did have to buy the eMMC
Yep.
to micro SD tool is what I'm going to call it. It's a little piece of hardware, and it was only like $6. But with this little piece of hardware, it makes flashing anything to that eMMC silly easy. Because if you don't have this tool and you want Android on the eMMC, it takes like 40 minutes of jumping around through hoops and magic acts.
Oh yeah. So the ability to
Lost you.
Do you hear me, Dor?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. So the eMMC plugs into that, and that plugs into your USB port, correct?
Well, there's 2 of them.
One's an SD and one's a...
Yes. The one I got is weird because the eMMC clips onto it. It then slides into the SD card sleeve, not the micro SD, the SD card sleeve, and then I put that into my laptop, and then I flash to it like an SD card.
Gotcha.
And yeah, I mean, and for people who forgot, the o-droid XU4 has, of course, gigabit Ethernet, because any respectable thing has gigabit Ethernet, unlike the new Raspberry Pi board, tangent later. It also has USB 3, like any self-respecting board, unlike any Raspberry Pi. It has USB 3 on it, but it also has a Samsung Exynos octa-core processor with 2 gigs of RAM. The processor, I'm not a Samsung lover at all, but the processor enables this thing to do things that you would not expect a $40 or $60 mini computer to be able to do. It can run Android miraculously good. It can stream content like butter. It can emulate games with no problems. And I am going to buy Exagear x86 emulation for ARM sooner or later. And this is the computer I'm going to put it on, because I want to see how good can I emulate real 32-bit and 64-bit applications. And now I say that out loud. I believe it can only do 32-bit applications, not 64-bit.
The o-droid XU4 is 64-bit.
Well, I know, but I believe the Exagear emulation software can only do 32-bit emulation.
The link is still showing it available at $49. That's from Hard Kernel in China, right?
Well, it says that there was 2 of them, and it does look like they are both Hard Kernel links. Yes. It wouldn't shock me if Ameridroid also. I do believe Ameridroid did have a deal on this as well, because I do remember they used the same image to it. But I can't. I just spent $100 on my other o-droid.
I'm clicking around to take a look. So, Diet Pie news. There's a new version of Diet Pie out, 1.8, and I have my Crash Pad. I won't say Plaid. Crash Pad HC1. I forget how big the drive is. I think it's like 4 terabytes. And again, Costco is like the storage depot of the planet. So I did get 256 gig thumb drive there. I got the 8 terabyte hard drive. They have laptop drives, the 2.5 drives. I don't know. I think they're like 5 terabytes and just about $100 for the laptop drive. I think I got a 3 or 4 terabyte in mine, and I did the update yesterday.
Lost you.
Oh, and coworker at the office, he bought let me talk straight. He bought a Raspberry Pi 3 and wanted to do Pi-hole with it. So I talked to him about it, and I programmed the SD card for him. I think I did put Diet Pi on it. So just checkbox, boom, and you have it. I was showing him other devices, and he saw the HC1, got one of those, and he's doing time capsule on it. And so as much as I pimp Diet Pie, the best distro if you want to do time capsule is oh gosh, why am I blanking on it? Open Media Vault. Open Media Vault, it's just a couple of check boxes, boom, it runs.
Well, that's nice. Open Media Vault, I do think doesn't get enough attention. I personally don't run it, honestly, because I run Plex on my desktop. When I'm not sitting down here running a show, it just sits here doing nothing, so I might as well use it for that.
Yeah, so I was kind of impressed with the guy that he, dove into it that quickly, didn't ask me any advice on, the next step. I did talk up the o-droid a bit to him, and that he found a distro, an ARM version of Open Media Vault, and
Lost you.
I was telling about my o-droid XU4 that I use as a time capsule, and what else? Time capsule, Plex server, all sorts of other things.
Yeah, and I'll put it like this: nothing is going to compete with the Raspberry Pi for at least 2 more years. Even if the Raspberry Pi continuously disappoints me personally, they're going to be fine. It's going to take a lot for them to be dethroned as the mini computing king. But I'll tell you right now, I love Pine as a company. I think they keep doing good work. I'm going to keep supporting them for the foreseeable future. But o-droid is the one who is killing it. They are putting out some of the best hardware, best built hardware, solid built hardware with good OSs on it for what I consider to be a very fair price. Line 754, Rich. We have the new Raspberry Pi 3 A plus, $25. I'll ask, does anything about it stick out to you?
All right. It's kind of a tough one to figure out because it only has, instead of a gig of RAM, it has 512 meg. It has Well, it's missing a couple of things. I forget what it is now.
I have
Some
no Ethernet at all.
Oh, okay, yeah. So no ether. So they dropped a couple of things, half gig of RAM. And I was trying to figure out what is the use case for this. The use case for this, in my mind, tell me if I'm wrong, is a set-top device.
I don't know if it has enough juice. I mean, to me, it's a good Octoprint maybe server wirelessly be connected, or some sort of wireless like sensor, like doorbell kind of thing. I don't know if this has the juice to be a front end of displaying good video. I honestly don't know. I mean, it has built on board Bluetooth and Wi-Fi, which is nice. So it's shooting for a non-connected device. So a streaming device it might be able to do, but I would question how high of a quality it can stream and what kind of consistency you can get, because anybody who has streamed content with Wi-Fi knows you better have extra bandwidth to spare, or else it's not going to stream clean.
Yeah, who is it? Gorkon. Joel published a link in it. I think CNET said the new high performance. And I'm like, what? I'm like, no, there's less performance.
Yes, much less performance, and it's only $10 cheaper. This is the thing that makes me upset about this. Raspberry Pi, as a foundation, has clearly stipulated year after year after year. They're not in this to make money. They're in this to help the third world ecosystem uh, mature at a higher rate. This is about a 10 to $15 device at most. This is not a $25 device. This is too much money for what you get. Now, the support you get with it, the community you get with it, maybe you can then say about 20 to 25 bucks.
So the way to think about it, I think effectively, is to think of this as a quad-core Pi Zero.
Was it quad core?
I think it is.
Yes, you're right. I thought it was dual core. You're right. It's quad core. So, okay. See, I keep thinking if you have local media connected to this, then you can probably do good video like viewing on it. I just don't know. My experience, my anecdotal experience with Raspberry Pi built-in Wi-Fi is extremely not stellar performance. Whether it's a zero, whether it's the new B plus, I do not get good speeds on my Wi-Fi at all. Sometimes I upload STL files that are like 10 megs to my Octoprint, and it literally takes 10 minutes.
Serious?
Yes, yes, and I don't know why. Because if I enable Samba on it and then I connect in my file manager, it goes much quicker. So I don't know if it's an Octoprint thing or a Wi-Fi thing or what. But I mean, I always like seeing Raspberry Pi not dying and, stopping putting out new hardware. But this is an extreme case of non-spectacular hardware.
Yeah, it's not something I'm excited about. And I for me, I
Lost you.
internet that they have USB 3, eMMC. Those would be the big three items for me.
Yeah, I mean, what I'm really tempted to do now is every time I buy a mini computer, I'm tempted to buy a Raspberry Pi and just donate it to an organization that I know can use it. There is more than a couple people. There's one guy I know literally who goes to third world countries and sets up infrastructure for education for schools to have computers in them using Raspberry Pis. They also are looking at helping Doctors Without Borders, I believe it is, to give them at least some kind of um, local only web server hosting content to where they can actually do stuff on it as well. But as far as I'm concerned, I don't really have a use case except for my Octoprint on my 3D printer, and that's only because it was convenient. I'm pretty sure I could get away with using a NanoPi Neo as my Octoprint server, and it would work just fine.
Yeah, I don't understand what's going on because I've been using a Pi Zero as my Octoprint server, and I have a Wi-Fi dongle on it, so I'm not running any internal Wi-Fi. So I'm very surprised that you're having an issue.
Well, it I'll say this. Two things are happening. Really slow speeds, but my router, I think, will intermittently turn on 5 gigahertz because I have 2.5 and 5 gigahertz, the dual band, which I hate dual band. I always think there's issues with dual band. And I think it switches back and forth because in my firmware on my router, I have the MAC address reservation say whenever this comes up, give it 155.
Hmm.
And at least 3 days out of the week, it switches to another IP address. I look in my router firmware and it even shows the correct MAC address, but it gives it the wrong IP
Oh,
address. And it is,
jeez.
but here's the thing. I got 20 devices, at least 20 devices in my house where I did that MAC address over Wi-Fi and it works with no problem. That is the only device where I have a problem.
You could do it two ways. You could also set the IP on the actual device. I've done that. I've had some issues.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I've had very long-standing, multi-year issues where that does not seem to work consistently. And I'm all about stability. You know what I mean? Ubuntu just announced 1804 is going to have 10 years worth of support. This
Whoa.
is what IoT needs, kind of thing. So now we'll be able to set up things in our house on these mini computers running a server operating system that we can actually get 10 years of updates on without worrying about it. Now, we don't know what kind of updates. I'm assuming they're security updates only after 5 years, which is fine by me. And I hope they don't cost money for the updates, which we still don't know. But we're going to get 10 years of updates.
That's crazy.
I will take whatever I can get from them because right after Red Hat sold for 34 billion, I said to myself, Mark is looking at that thinking he can make money off of this. And he's a businessman. His job is to do right and make money for the business. So sooner or later, I think he's going to try to, I don't want to say cash out, but he's going to try to make a money move. And I think the first thing in that process is gaining popularity and then offering something that has like 10 years worth of support to show that he is stable, the business is stable, Ubuntu is stable, to try to gain uh you know um like confidence in the market.
That he's a player.
And he ain't dumb.
Yep. Yeah, nobody got there being dumb.
Okay, we did have more than a couple links in the notes, I'll say that. Maybe dare I say too many links in the notes. But was there anything else you saw that jumped out at you?
The diet, not diet pie, orange pie. I'm like, really? Orange pie stick? Line 766.
Well, I'll first say why not? Because Intel has a compute stick. They just announced, I believe, their compute stick 2 as well.
Oh, really?
Um,
I thought they were out of that business.
no, they in fact I want to say it was line 761 is where they talk about the brand new Intel compute stick as well. So I will say I only heard of like story driven ways to use these devices. I've never actually heard of somebody using these devices, but what it's like is you as a programmer, you have a special programming language like R is my example, where you write this code specifically towards taking advantage of these compute stick type processors, these neural network type processors, these AI type processors, however you want to call it. And these compute sticks just stick in a computer and it gives you extra resourcing power without bogging down your main computer. The Orange Pi one is only $69. Um, these things always interest me. I would love the fact that I could take like this is what I really want, Rich. I would really want to be able to buy one of these things, shove it in a 7-year-old laptop, and all of a sudden that 7-year-old laptop performs like a 3-year-old laptop. But I can't find anybody who actually bought one of these things and actually puts it to use and can actually tell me what they're doing with the damn thing.
Yeah, I'm looking at the article. All right, so what's our hardware?
Well, every time I see these neural networks on a stick, I never see good breakdowns of what is actually going on in the stick.
So it's USB 3.0. I'm looking for, cores, horsepower, RAM.
Well, I think part of it is, you know how it's really difficult to compare an Intel based processor to an ARM based processor. They don't jive. You can't say, well, this 2.0 gigahertz is like that 2.0 gigahertz because they're different things. That's the impression I get with these compute sticks is it's really difficult to compare them to other computers. Yeah, it's
So I see 2 gigs of RAM, 4 gigs of flash.
yeah, Bitcoin mining, Rich. You remember when the NVIDIA craze
Yep.
started to ramp down, the number one piece of hardware was an ASICs
Right.
miner. ASICs is a processor. It's like RISC processors, well, there's
Well,
ASICs processors.
it's ASIC is application specific integrated circuit. So it's actually a CPU that's specifically designed for a single task.
Right. Well, that's what this is. This is a Lichspeur, Lightspeeur, Lichspeur 2801S ASIC um, um, in a PLAI plug, whatever. That is like literally voodoo to me. It could mean anything. But I'm sure there's somebody out there who, when they heard this, they were like, oh, that's awesome. I can get that for $60. But I just don't know who the hell they are, and I don't know what the hell they would do with it. And of course, our friends over at AliExpress, you can buy one right now for $69. The Orange Pi AI stick, they call it 2801 neural network computing stick artificial intelligence. It's been ordered 9 times. It looks like since it's been out.
Yeah. All
You
right.
do get special SDK software with it, and it says there's no training tool which needs additional payment. Whatever the hell that.
So in other words, it's open source.
I don't know. I mean, that's the thing. I'm almost tempted to buy one of these damn things just so I can see what the hell is going on.
Look, if it was $10 or $20, I'd buy one. $69, nah. I'm not wasting my money on something I'm going to burn a lot of time on.
I just really wish somebody that we trust, somebody
Right.
who has some credibility in the mini PC world, like explaining computers, or MicMaker, somebody would buy one of these damn things and give us real examples of how we or somebody can use one of these damn things. Because I'm pretty sure if I bought the damn thing, I would look at it and plug it into a computer and go, I don't know what to do now. I don't know. And I will say, if you, the listener out there, are a YouTube nut and you like watching stuff on YouTube, whether it be how to fix cars or roofing shingles or how to learn Java, I encourage you to look up MicMake, MICMAKE, and explainingcomputers.com. Look up those two guys. And ETA Prime is the other guy I would say, who they really have a good passion about these mini computers, and they sometimes try to break them, sometimes just try to benchmark them, but they like playing with them.
Yeah, McMake's a good guy. I've tweeted to him back and forth a couple of times. So, nice enough fella, approachable.
Yeah, and it says the stick supports Cafe, CAFFE, and PyTorch frameworks, PyTorch. Okay, PyTorch frameworks. At least I believe that's Python based, which means I might be able to find the use case for it. Like
Right.
what? Like I could sort my CD list really fast using Python. I don't know. I don't know. These things confuse. I mean, I am so easily confused. I don't know. I'm sure they have cool use cases. $60, $70. I would really hope it could be really useful, but I don't know what these are for still. Yeah, the NanoPi. I believe we did talk about the NanoPi Neo 4, which is another RK3399 base board. These things are coming out more and more and more and more. But I also have to do a quick rewind. The thing I would not shut up about last episode, Chromify, CROMEFY. Um, I could not get any of it to work in any shape, way, or form on anything.
So what'd you try Chromify on?
I tried to do it for an ARM-based chip. I had to try to do it for the Raspberry Pi-based chip. I tried to do it for x86. I wanted to put it on a laptop even. I couldn't get the damn thing to work on anything. I go to YouTube. I type in CHROMEFY. Not a single damn video on YouTube, which tells me nobody is having any success with this damn thing.
Because I was hoping I could run Chromify on my Pinebook or something.
Hopefully it's just a simple matter of we caught the news too quickly and they need some help to get this thing to a more stable running kind of thing. I hope in a couple weeks it's going to be usable, but I still can't get the damn thing to work anywhere, no matter how much I want, how much I try. I'm going to keep trying to look at it for updates, but as of right now, I'm calling it vaporware because I don't know what else to call it because I can't get the damn thing working. And it seems like nobody on the public facing internet has anything showing what they did to get it working or showing examples of it up and running.
Well, that's a bummer. I really was hoping to turn up something with that.
I mean, I encourage other people to try, and if you get it working, please let me know, but I can't.
Yeah, I think I got a better chance of getting Docker on the Rock 64 going.
Well, supposedly that's easy. I honestly believe, if I'm not mistaken, DiePi has Docker as a clickable install.
Is it serious? I got to check that out.
I thought it was either that or it was Armbian had like a one command thing to get Docker up and running.
Well, you can do like apt install and pretty much get Docker. Now you got me curious.
Yeah. And here was the other thing. I had lots of issues getting my Rock Pro 64 to do any damn thing successfully without blowing up. And I did find it was on line 776, Rich. I did find that apparently there's like a pending update that hasn't gone out, and I do believe the newest update available for the Rock Pro 64 is still over a month old. I want to say it's mid-October was the latest update, so I was really getting upset at it. It looks like there is a literal command you have to run, sudo apt-get install linux-rock pro 64 space -y, and something might work better. So I'm going to also see if I can have a chance to try that. Because the Rock Pro 64 is one of those boards I didn't shut up about for more than a couple weeks.
Yep.
Because I really do believe that if something stable comes out on this damn thing, it's going to be a really good board.
Actually, I got mine with me here in a duffel bag. I had an anonymous donor give me a nice setup, and like I said, I smoke tested it. I didn't do much further, which I really owe them to do a review.
Well, I can tell you, I put 7 or 8 operating systems on it. Every one I did after doing updates, upgrades, it just stopped working. Fix broken packages didn't work. No commands I could issue would get it back to a full functioning state. So then what I tried to do like a couple times was not do upgrades, but instead just try to install a piece of software here or there to get it a little bit more fully functional. And when I installed like 1 or 2 things, it then did the same thing and it broke. It seems like there's only one guy, literally one guy, doing all the updates for this board, and it was
Is that the Udafan?
yeah, AYUFAN. So I literally need to go to his GitHub page. There's literally a link there called Buy Me a Beer. I'm gonna literally ping him, send him 10, $20, wait a couple days, and then say, hey, is there anything you need to do more updates on this device? Because I think it's a worthwhile kind of thing, and I would like to see some more updates come out for it. Yeah, and what I don't understand is that this is talking about Rock Pro 64, and it looks like this post was made back in July. And I could have swore that this board literally only came out like a month ago, 2 months ago. So I don't know how. I mean, maybe he had a dev board. I don't know.
Could be. I know dev boards go out. Like the guy that does, and I hate to say I don't know his name offhand, but the guy that does Diet Pie does get dev boards from manufacturers.
Yeah, and I did. I don't make resolutions because I don't need to let myself down anymore. But I do. I did tell myself sometime this coming year, 2019, I am going to send something to the Diet Pie people. Whether it's donated hardware, whether it's money, I don't know, something, because I really can't imagine the amount of work that goes into what they're doing because I really don't know. But I can tell you one thing, it's more than 5 minutes a week.
Oh yeah.
Something tells me it's easily 20 hours plus a week.
Well, I have a couple of pairs of glasses, and I think the guy's in Germany, and he said, hey, this next release is going to be late. This was a couple of months ago because his son broke his glasses. And I'm like, what? Like, dude, you don't have another pair of glasses kicking around? Like, your last prescription?
Yeah, I always have to. Well, I've been wearing glasses since I'm 6 months old, so I literally have at least 3 or 4 pairs of glasses at all times.
You got the Fred Sanford drawer of glasses?
Yeah, I do. I do because I have to. But then, of course, the last time I broke or lost my glasses was when I was on vacation in Florida, and it was the very first day down there. So I had to go like 5 days with no glasses, and that sucked. Yeah. And I will say the Orange Pi compute stick, neural network AI stick, whatever. It was released, and then literally 2 days later, um, there was a formal announcement that the SDK and documentation was made public. So I will have that in the notes as well. Because without SDKs, then what's the use of the compute stick? And the Intel stuff, I've never heard whether or not you have to pay for the SDK or whether it only comes with the stick or what. Um, but I mean, it's good that Orange Pi is at least putting this stuff out there.
Okay, actually, what am I doing here? I could just SSH into one of my devices and check if Diet Pi has Docker, but it does look like from their bulletin board that Docker is available. Now, I'm not sure if it's just check the box.
Well, and the only thing I'll say nicely in an apprehensive manner about Diet Pi is just because it says it is offered does not mean if you install it, it's going to be perfectly configured and ready to roll. Um, okay, here is okay. Yeah, I am going to put that notes in the notes. I did find it as well. The link for the command to run for the Nextcloud Diet Pi. Right now, it's on line 784. Rich, if you want to see it. And I'll say this. I'm not a genius, but I'm not an idiot. This command caught me off guard because what you have to type is, for some reason, said space dash I space. And then what you're basically doing is a /pipe CP space. And then it's the config sample PHP file to the config PHP. So it looks like you're like copying. For some reason they did it like this, which is much more complicated than they needed to. It looks like they're literally just copying the sample config PHP file into the normal PHP config file. And then you have to do 2 remove commands, RM commands, which can be very dangerous if you do not type them right. So be very careful with any RM commands. And then they have one error is it says dietpi-software space install space 114. That command essentially won't work. He's instructing somebody on how to fix his current dietpi installation. That command should be dietpi-software space reinstall space 114. 114 is the code for Nextcloud. So it will reinstall Nextcloud and then it will start to work. So it's documented, but he says in 618 it's going to be fixed. I believe I am only running 617.
Okay, I just went through the preferred software and the extra software in Diet Pi, and just giving it the Mach 1 eyeball, I don't see Docker listed. I could have missed it, but I don't see it there.
Well, if you run dietpi-launcher, one of the options should be the ability to search the list of software. That's what I always do, just because I do wish their optimized and their other software was in a little bit more of an ordered fashion. And if it isn't,
All right.
I'm going to be shocked.
I'm looking at Diet Pi Launcher. Oh, I've never done this. I have never clicked on search.
I wouldn't lie to you, bro. Oh, trust me, I live off the search, even though I will say on older versions, when I did the search and selected the software, it wouldn't select it.
Docker has a number of 162. Build, ship, run, distribute, application. So yes, it is there.
Very cool.
So check mark, boom, Docker installed. Sons of Birches.
Okay, one more thing I just want to bring up, Rich, and it's only because it's, the IoT time of year kind of thing, it seems like, with Singles Day in China literally making, I want to say it was $36 billion in one day. No doubt a fair amount of that stuff is going to be electronic related, and every day more IoT things are being sold. That's just a given. We have the first, as far as I am aware of, global company dedicating itself towards a specific brand of IoT devices. Line 786 in the notes. Kia has decided to go with the Xiaomi 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 brand of hardware for all of their IoT smart lighting systems. For those that don't know, Xiaomi. They are literally like the number 3 manufacturer of like smartphones and those kinds of devices. They also make other things. They make tablets. I believe they make laptops as well. But over here in the North America, we basically never, ever, ever see anything this company does. But we're soon going to be able to walk into our favorite Swedish furniture store and find IoT hardware powered by Xiaomi. If the federal government is worried about Huawei and telling people to stop using Huawei, I cannot see the federal government being okay with Xiaomi.
Wow.
Yeah, I'll say this.
Eh,
Xiaomi is not a baby company. They've been around a while, so I have confidence in their ability to put out good, solid, stable stuff.
And just so the listeners don't get show me, it's not SHOWME, it's XIAOMI. So some
Yeah.
people might be like, huh, what? Who's that?
Yeah, and it's literally every time I have to search for it, I just pull up my Google Android device and I just hit the microphone button and hit show me Chinese hardware like that. And then that's the only way I get it spelled right because I can't come close to spelling it.
Wow.
Yeah, and here's the gimmick. In China, Google Assistant is not available on all their Android devices. They have two of them. There's the Huawei AI assistant, whatever, and then there's the Show Me assistant. And the Show Me assistant, um, right now says how many did it say? They've sold 132 units of consumer devices in its IoT ecosystem in the last quarter. So yeah, they're not new to this. This is not some janky like Gen 1 product you're going to get in IKEA. You're going to get what is going to be like a third, fourth gen solid piece of hardware when it comes to IoT from your friendly local Swedish furniture distributor.
So when they say IoT, what do you think they mean?
What they're looking at is I'm going to tell you it's going to be two types of thing. It's going to literally be lamps with the technology built into it, and it's going to be outlets with it built into it, and that's going to be basically all of it for like the first 6 to 8 months. I do see after a little bit they're going to actually offer more of like the smart hub type solutions, but right now they're just going to be smart devices.
Okie doke. I installed Docker on my HC1. Now I've got to figure out what to do with it.
Yeah, it says in the bottom of this article on a website I can't pronounce. On its website, IKEA states that all of the IKEA smart lighting products are now compatible with Apple HomeKit and Amazon Alexa. If the app is available in the respective market, um, so it looks like it's basically going to be in the beginning nothing more than lights, which I
Google
would.
Assistant also. You missed that.
Yeah, thank you. So there's little doubt in my mind that they're going to broaden the scope. It might take them, 6 to 8 months, but they're going to broaden the scope and they're going to start offering much more. Show me. I'll say this: they need to get into the Western Hemisphere one way or another, and they need to get more into Europe. They just did a big Europe um, announcement where they are starting to sell phones in the UK. They're already really popular in India, Thailand, China. They're like slowly making their way through the Silk Road.
Well, that's the interesting thing is in a country like India, you can get an Android phone for $30.
Yeah, Android One is the other thing that's being even more popular out there. Android One, instead of being a $30 phone, it's like a $50 phone or a $60 phone, but it's running basically a pure Android experience specifically engineered to run on lower end devices, which means you're going to get a $60 device over there, which is literally going to run in similar nature to $1,000 device over here because the operating system is going to be so optimized.
Dang, can I get one?
Yeah, but you're gonna laugh at it when you try to do stuff on it and you realize how it's underpowered. But it will run fast. It just will not do compute intensive things quickly. And they won't support probably most of our carriers.
Right. That's the other thing.
Yeah, I don't know if there's any other things you wanted to bring up, Rich.
I'll tell you what. I'll bring up one thing. Is I had the list on my Chromebook, and every time I navigated off the tab for the list in my Chromebook, it went back to line 1.
That's not good.
Anyhow, as soon as we are done with this, I'm going to play with Docker a little bit, see what I come up with.
Yeah, very cool. I'm going to try to unpack this H2 and at least look at it because I'm pretty sure that's all I can do right now is just look at it because I'm like 99% sure there's not a power brick in here because it doesn't look big enough.
Oh, and you didn't get the power supply from a Meridroid?
Not yet, no. And I honestly did not check if there's any tracking information on it. It's like the holiday time of year. Maybe I'll just let it be a surprise.
I'm wondering if you have RAM for it. Like, do you have like your Zotac board or something that would have the right size RAM?
Honestly, I have a Zotac and I have an Intel NUC. I don't know. One of them might be able to do it. If not, I'm literally just going to buy like a 2 gig RAM stick, something low and cheap, because I don't need. In the beginning, I don't need 32 gigs of RAM. I just need something in it for it to run. All right, Rich. If people want to catch up with you, what's the best way for them to do that?
Best place is flyingrich.com. There's a contact me. So if you want to send me a message or just look at any of the social media, what I've been up to, what I've been posting, where I've been podcasting.
Very cool, very cool. And I will make sure, because I just found it in our notes, the link to the Amazon article, to the article where Amazon announces they're going to start to offer ARM infrastructure for their cloud choices. So if you go to do it, I don't think it's an EC2 instance. I think it's the other one, EC3 maybe, Elastic Cloud, where they're going to offer ARM
Cool.
servers for rent. So that's cool. I will say the best way to get in contact with us is literally to just go to flyingrich.com or go to your email client and just do mail at podnutz.com or doorgeek@gmail.com. If it's mini PC related, I will start because I'm still having issues getting the email for some reason from mini PC show at podnutz.com to forward correctly. All the other Podnutz accounts forward correctly, but I can't get this one to forward correctly. So that's the easiest way to get in touch with us. Do not forget, do not hit the like button on YouTube. In fact, I want as many people as possible to hit the down thumbs on YouTube to prove a point. And that point is, in a lot of cases, YouTube down thumbing a video is more beneficial than up thumbing a video.
Really?
And that's because YouTube found hatred and vulgarity and dislike drives more viewers than likes. And sorry, but that's the truth. And with that, I will talk to everyone again in about a week.